Hi everyone. I just wanted to jump on and have a chat to you about who you're investing in if you get tattooed by me. So I wanted to chat about why I tattoo, why I got into tattooing in the first place. I never thought I could be a tattooer, to be honest. I never thought I was creative enough or um, had enough intuition to understand what a client would want to transform it into a tattoo. I just never had the faith in myself to do such a thing until I met my partner, and he was just blown away by my art, and he already had tattoos and I had tattoos, and he was just like, you should go for this. Like this feels like what you're meant to do if you want to do it. And of course I was like, well, yeah, I'd like to give it a try. At the time I was a makeup artist and part-time for myself, and then part-time at Maya in the fragrance section, living a very different life before I was tattooing. So yeah, and then I was trying to find an apprenticeship, and then I got an apprenticeship, and God bless the people that helped me out and gave me my start. Claire, thank you so much, from the Painted Lady, for taking me under her wing from the start when I had no experience, so thank you. And then all the other people from there that gave me experience on my journey. So I'm very grateful for these people from where I've come. So yes, I got into tattooing not thinking that I could intuitively design something for someone to be on their skin forever. I just thought that was outrageous, but I got into it anyway and had faith and followed the path and the little breadcrumbs of the universe, and it's been magical ever since, following those little magic bits. So I started off tattooing because I just wanted to create and make a living out of that, and then I realized how much I liked helping people, and that was just became a part of the tattooing. Like, you would chat to people and get to know their problems and not offer advice, but like just be there for them and hold space for them in a way that they usually would maybe at a hairdresser's or like a therapist or something. But I'm not saying we're therapists, I'm just saying we chat to people a lot. So the more I spoke to people and the more I got to know people on a different level in that tattoo chair, the more I fell in love with it, and the more I realized that there was so much more to this tattooing that there had been led out to be, that I had been taught at least, that this physicality of like these pictures, you know, like there was more to it than just them. There's so much more to it, and I didn't realize that until a few years into the journey when I opened up my own space. Some of the places that I worked at were not the greatest work environments, as a lot of tattoo studios are. It's just part of the deal, unfortunately, at this day and age. So yeah, there were some points that I wasn't treated like I felt like I should have been, and there was definitely some aspects that were not as a normal industry. So that when I got pregnant with my daughter, I really had to rethink, with my daughter, I really had to rethink my situation of work and where I was going and what I wanted for my family from then on. And that's when my partner and I decided to open up our first tattoo studio and named it after her, and it was amazing. It was the first vegan studio in Brisbane, or the first all vegan products used and all that sort of stuff. Now it's really common, which is awesome, and I love it. And now eco tattooing is on the rise as well, and also conscious tattooing, which I love. So it's amazing, and I'm so excited to see where tattooing progresses to and where I progress to as well in the future. So yeah, I guess I wanted to say that I tattoo for the love of the art, but also for the people, because there's nothing that I love and then I get more satisfaction out of and more wholesomeness from than feeling like I'm helping someone almost. Like cover-ups, I love cover-ups or reworks, because that satisfaction of making something that someone like really wanted to look a certain way, or has really can't stand that part of their body and wants to hide because of that tattoo. Like, if I can help them transform that and transform themselves in their own self-worth and their own self-consciousness, then that's ultimate for me. That's ultimate satisfaction, and I'm just in my element. So being able to do those things together is just opened up doors for me that I can't even explain, in a spiritual realm, in a physical realm, in a work realm, in every aspect really. Like ever since I had my daughter and opened a first business, it's just been a whirlwind. Which brings me to why we created, me and my partner, why we created our second tattoo studio, Soul Temple. Soul Temple for us was, after our previous experience with our old studio, we really wanted to focus on, as well as customer satisfaction and client satisfaction, we really wanted to focus on the relationship with the artists and the artists with themselves as well. I really found that in my old studio that I owned, I was still working pretty much like 6 days a week, and then doing all the behind business work as well, with a business partner, with my partner as well, but it was still a lot, and I just didn't feel like it was draining me. It was draining me, and that's why I feel I had the wake-up call, the health crisis, the knock on the door and say, hey, you need to sort yourself out, you need to sort out your endometriosis, your hormones, your life really. So that's a whole nother story, but long story short, I needed to sort out my health, and I realized that this was a part of the path, and a part of a path that I wanted to see for other tattooers as well, because there's so many of us that have, especially female tattooers, that have endometriosis or hormonal issues, or like even just, you know, people get sick, you know, people have family things come up, mental health things come up, and we as human beings and business conscious, heart-led business owners need to hold space for those people like we would for ourselves. So that's the reason we created Soul Temple, and that space was just to honor those people and create a safe space where they could grow, become their own being, become their own artist, and just be free, and, you know, still have structure, and, you know, like, you know, have to clean up and stuff like that and certain days, but, you know, we have flexibility, and we have that understanding of, like, things are going to happen, and that's okay. We're not going to freak out and say, no, you need to be here at this time, and, you know, we are understanding. And I think that's the main thing that we really wanted with Soul Temple, was to just make sure that everyone, including our clients and our staff, or the people that work with us, to make sure that they felt welcomed and they felt understood and heard, because that's what we all want. I guess I just wanted to let you know as well, maybe you might want to know what my goals are as a human, or as an artist, a creator in general. I feel like goals are great, and I have several goals, but I'm honestly just following the breadcrumbs of where this crazy life is leading me, where I feel passion in the moment, where I feel excitement and that full-bodied yes that you can feel in your gut, in your womb, everywhere. You can, it's an innate feeling. So yeah, apart from just going with those breadcrumbs and following those little passions, which are at the moment, you want to know, passions obviously tattooing and progressing that, refining the tattoo studio, Soul Temple, getting more merch together, building more of a community around that. I'm not sure how that looks yet. It might involve some art nights or flash days, hopefully. I'm not sure, there's a lot to organize. My goals as a tattooer is to just continually refine my practice, be more conscious about the products I'm using constantly, as well as I really want to refine my ceremony. Yeah, just connecting with other artists as well, like more guest artists. Another thing that I've been following the breadcrumbs with is music or sound healing. If some of you have been tattooed by me before, my ceremonies include a wee bit of sound healing, some sound bowls, some chimes, and sometimes some voice, if I feel like it, or if I feel called to, or confident enough. But I'm getting there. Any feedback would be amazing. If you have had a session like that before, please give me a review or send me a message or something like that and let me know how it was. That'd be great. So yeah, sound. I would love to study more sound healing, into the actual science behind it, because I just love sound and all it can do for actual healing. Like, there's a couple of really great podcasts. One is Living 4D with Paul Chek. I can't remember the guy's name, but it was about sound. I'll put it in the show note, in the video notes though. It was a great episode about the healing power of sound and the science behind it. He was a full scientist that went to Egypt, studied in the Great Pyramid in the tomb, and it healed his back. Basically, his back issues were completely healed just from one tonal hit in the ancient pyramid. Incredible. So sound healing is really like tickles me at the moment. I'm super excited to jump into that when I can, whenever that is. Slowly jump into that, but yeah, it's one thing. Also more video content for my homies at work, because I love them, as well as for myself, because this is what it is. And also I really enjoy a different art form. It's just a different challenge for me, a different creating of life, and I'm fine with that. So I'm going for it, and it's fun. It's fun. Also, a few of you wanted to know a little bit about the channeling or tattoo ceremony process. Anyway, I'll give a bit more of like a whole video on it, but I'll just give like a quick rundown. So basically, in the channeling process, at home, I get your birth details just so I can connect to your soul and your guides. And then at home, I set up a little ceremony space where I just sit down, meditate, call in the guides, call in for protection, smudge, that sort of thing. And then as I'm meditating, I call in your guides and ask them to show me where, if you don't know where, and what. If it's symbols, like if it's the soul markings you're after, or if it's like a spirit guide animal that you want, then that'll come up. I can either ask the guides for the spirit animal or soul markings to come up, or they'll just intuitively know. It just comes up, really. It's not really a thing. So yes, I close my eyes, meditating, and these symbols come through, pictured like as in like I'm looking at your body sort of thing. So if it's your hand, so you'll have your bare hand looking at, like I'm looking at it sort of thing. And then all these markings will start appearing one by one, and as I draw them, the whole picture will sort of come through, and then you'll see it. And then as I've drawn the picture, then the messages will come through, and then I'll write them down on the picture. It looks pretty messy, like it's a really messy process, I guess, channeling, for mine at least. And yeah, and then I send it off to the client and just say like, this is what came through. Does it resonate? And yeah, it usually, I think once, maybe it hasn't 100% resonated, but all the other times it has, if I'm being truthfully honest. All the other times it has, so like 99.9% of the time, or because I've done a lot of channel tattoos now, it's usually right. So yeah, it's cool. The channeling is super fun process, as well as the ceremony, for me at least. Probably for the people, but more not fun, probably relaxing, I guess. Transformative, I hope. So yes, as the tattoo ceremony on the day, we come in, we do the stencil and that sort of thing, we smudge, we do a little bit of sound healing, like I said, with the sound bowls, the chimes, a little bit of voice if I want to. We'll get a drum one day, we'll get some chimes, some say crystal harp thing, crystal harp, we'll get one of those one day. I'll learn how to play my lyre harp, a little bit harder. String instruments are a little bit more challenging for me, but I'll get there. So yes, we play the music, you're meditating, you're in a meditative state, we go through like a little bit of guided meditation together. I do some energy healing on you, some seshim, however you want to say it. Ancient Egyptian healing technique, which I am trained in level 2. I'm also trained in Palawa level 2, I think. It was a while ago. I'll have to check with Nick. Love you. Yes, so we do some energy healing as well on you. We activate the codes on your arm, wherever the tattoo is. Or if it's a spirit animal, we call in that spirit animal, infuse its energy into this tattoo. Usually, like, for instance, a fox came through for a client, and I called the fox in on the day, and it was beautiful. It came in dancing all around me, like a little fox circling around us, and then jumped into her tattoo, just like a fox would. Dived right in there. It was pretty rad. So yeah, things like that happen. I can see them and then I'll tell you. Sometimes the client can see or feel things. Sometimes energy might release. Sometimes they might need to like burp or cough. Sometimes they might cry. It's just all a part of the transformative energy of getting tattooed and in ceremony, really. And then yeah, after we've done all of that sort of healing, I forgot to say at the start, of course, we acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land and ask them for permission, as well as call in the ancestors from each of me and the client. That's a really important one that I forgot to mention, I'm sorry. Anyway, at the end of the healing ceremony, we do a little bit of oracle card pull-on, and then we don't read it until the end of the tattoo and do the second ceremony, which is the closing ceremony, which is pretty similar structure, but just like thanking everyone and bringing it to a close. And also we include intention setting and putting a little bit of spells in there, so super fun. A little bit woo-woo if you like that, but I like woo-woo, so it's cool and it works. The intention is there. So yeah, if you want a channel tattoo from me, or even just a tattoo ceremony to add to your custom design tattoo, that's cool too. Just let me know. It's no extra charge. It's just a part of it. I'm using the energy when I tattoo you normally anyway. That Sekhem energy, that concentration in that space of, what's the word? Creative flow. I'm using that Sekhem healing energy and I'm connecting to Sekhmet, the Great Mother Healer. Releasing, because we are doing a bloodletting ritual, essentially. And Sekhem was, Sekhmet, sorry, she was the goddess, the lioness goddess, that liked to devour blood, but she was also the healer. So she transformed the blood into liquid gold, and that's the healing nectar. So we're transforming, we're letting out the blood, letting out whatever no longer suits us, whatever is not in our vibration anymore. And we're bringing in this new vibration of the new ink, the new messages, the new codes, the new animals, the new energy. We're absorbing that and we're letting the rest go. So that's the really powerful magic of tattoo ceremony and tattoos in general.